Yes, here we are. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we exchange news, ideas, headlines, content, questions, suggestions, and I'm going to change the usual path that we follow by addressing this one because it's right in front of me right now. Albert says, "Hola Paco and Cluster from Hilary Central. Gutters are clear, drainage channels are cleaned, and umbrellas are down. I don't know what else to do because this is my first hurricane. I'm used to earthquakes." Well, let me just tackle this one. Having a little bit of experience with hurricanes, dear Albert, let me just say that the good news is that by the time it hits you tomorrow, it will have degraded to a tropical storm. But it's a good thing that you're taking your precautions. What do I do with hurricanes? I make sure there are brownies in the fridge. I made sure that my Netflix account is paid. I've made sure that I've loaded enough Netflix onto my iPad just in case the power goes off. I make sure that there's enough food in the house. And of course, everything else that you've mentioned is a good thing to do. We'll talk about Hilary in a second, but I just wanted to address that, Albert. Just make sure that, you're well taken care of and you have things to spend the day at home. For the rest of us, it is Saturday all day long. It is Saturday, August 19. We haven't said hello to Chicago for a while, so there you go. A little bit of Chicago, a little bit of Saturday in the park. And I'm looking forward to the weekend. Well, actually started the weekend yesterday with all kinds of fun activities that I want to share with you. I finally made it to Pastelería Pavlova, the bakery, and I'm going to tell you all about it. I went and had lovely lunch by the Rio Quale, and I want to tell you about that. There are news to share today, a couple of things, and there's a couple of complainer things that we're just going to include because, just why not? And of course, we also, today is Saturday, and Saturday is our gratitude day. Thank you, Saturday, in which we acknowledge those of you that have become subscribers. And there were some questions in my inbox on how to access the content that has been created exclusively for members here at Coffee and Headlines. I'll give you a crash course and a little reminder on how to access this information. But before we go there, as always, I want to welcome everyone to Coffee and Headlines. If you're watching later on in the day on YouTube, if you're watching the rerun, we love you very much. And remember, you can always subscribe or you can hit the like button, and we will love you even more for that. If you're watching live today for the first time and would like a nice little welcome, just write the word "new" in your comment and we'll be so very happy to give you a nice little welcome. If you're enjoying the broadcast, feel free to thumbs up me as much as you want. And if you have something really important to share, as always, I invite you to add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. And Otherwise, I'll just assume you're having a lovely conversation among yourselves, which is also absolutely fine. Let us get started with the news. And yes, Hilary is dominating the news. While we were sleeping, Hurricane Hilary went and decided to blossom into a Category 4 hurricane, and its widespread cloud coverage is expected to bring heavy rains to the region from Jalisco all the way up to Baja California, which is where it is presently heading. As we mentioned a few days ago, this is the first hurricane of the season that decides to head north and land as opposed to heading out to the Pacific Ocean. By this evening, the hurricane will have decreased in intensity, approaching Baja California Sur, and is expected to touch land close to the border with Baja California Norte, right around here, by tomorrow morning. As I mentioned a second ago, Hilary will continue to decrease in intensity through Sunday, heading north towards the Bay Area as a tropical storm and landing there on Monday. Again, take your precautions if you are in the path of the hurricane, and just do as Albert does. There you go. We have two complainer news today just because apparently the recent 10 million investment to give the Los Muertos, 10 million pesos, by the way, to give the Los Muertos Pier a little bit of maintenance and love was not enough to turn the lights on, as the pier has been apparently in the dark for 2 weeks. Bummer. And then there's this one. As much as we love Versalles, it can be filthy and stinky as well, unfortunately. There is a report of the intersection of Hamburgo and Berlin streets near Medina Asensio, where a combination of garbage that has apparently not been picked up in a timely fashion by the city and the lack of mindfulness of the people leaving it there and not bagging it properly has resulted in an unsightly mess. Now, there's only so much we can do about the city, but we can certainly do a lot about how mindful we are when we take the trash out. Always try to take your trash out in plastic bags and in a way in which it's not going to spread about. At least that's the sensible thing to do, I think. But it's not just complaints. There's a little bit of good news to share. We learned that the city's maintenance crew gave Colonia Leandro Valle in Pitillal some much needed TLC by cleaning and painting some public areas, including sidewalks, a basketball court, tree pruning, and so forth. And you probably have been through this colonia, even though you may not be aware of it. You see, Colonia Leandro Valle is located right here. It's one of the 4 corners of the Pitillal's main plaza. The Pitillal's main plaza is this little block over here. So if you've ever driven from the maritime terminal through Pitillal and then headed down the street to join Francisco Villa, then you probably have driven through the colonia and have actually seen some of those basketball courts out there. So little by little, the government seems to be doing whatever they can to give the city some well-deserved TLC. Of course, there are areas of the city that we see more frequently, but it's a big city and it requires a lot of maintenance. So that's what we have for news today. Let us turn over to the weather forecast, which of course I forgot to turn on. So let me kill a little bit of time, just a few seconds, and there we go. That cloud looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's obese mother-in-law. Okay. Well, I'm not familiar with these characters, so I'm just going to pass on commenting on that. It is 30 degrees right now. Humidity is at 66%. And our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 86 at present time. Our weather forecast for today says it's going to be humid with mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. A chance of rain of 44%, a high of 34, and a low of 24. Tomorrow, Sunday. Mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon. A chance of rain of 61%, a high of 31, and a low of 24. And then Monday, rather, we'll have rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 68%, a high of 31, and a low of 24. At least that's what we seem to be having. I certainly hope something materializes. Now, today, of course, is Thank You Saturday, and on Saturday, we like to acknowledge those of you who have chosen to pursue a membership here at Coffee and Headlines along with our community partners. This week, we're happy to welcome John and Paul and JW and Kyssie and Sherry as Cluster Angels. Thank you so very much for your support. And of course, we acknowledge our 5 community partners for this year. That would be Apache's Martini Bar, a fun al fresco bar in the heart of Zona Romantica, Best Cord Cutting TV, which provides us with locally based television, international channels, and 126 channels from Mexico. We have Hotel Mercurio, the most fabulous LGBT plus hotel in the city that features their legendary Beers, Boys, and Burgers party every Sunday. We have Bistro Mercurio, which is Hotel Mercurio's own independently branded poolside restaurant. And of course, we have Joint Co-working Hotel, where I have the pleasure of presenting my music appreciation presenting the presentations. There you go. So these 5 community partners help in a great way to keep ourselves financially successful and prepared to continue delivering. If you find yourselves around the city, I totally encourage that you pursue the services of either Apache's or Best Cord Cutting or Mercurio or the Joint Co-working Hotel. Moving right along, I want to show you an amazing place that I just discovered, and this immediately, well, let me show you what this is, and you tell me if you know where this, actually, no, let me backtrack that. If you know where this is, don't say anything just yet, but check out this place. It's it looks like a little mini island, but it's shaped like a boat. And there's all these little people standing in the water. You can see all those pangas. You can see it's very shallow because there are all these people standing about on crystal clear aqua blue water and sandy beach. Do you have any idea of where this is? I can give you a clue. This is in Mexico, and it is a place called the Pirate Lagoon or Laguna de los Piratas, and it is located in a small town called Bacalar, which is in Quintana Roo. And I figured I want to know more about this place. Where is this place? Because it looks heavenly. So, of course, I very quickly went to Google Earth to try to find it and to get a better idea of where it is. And while Google Earth was showing it to me, I also learned that, you can go there and see, there is that little boat structure, which we can see from the satellite view. And let me see, I have more things to show you. Let me set this up. Hold on just a second. Oh, and I forgot to do the tutorial for Buy Me a Coffee. I'll do that in a second, but let me get into the Google Maps just to give you some details about this gorgeous place, which happens to be on the route of the new Maya train. There's going to be a stop at right this place. So here we are. There is lovely Puerto Vallarta. And if you head over to the other side of the country, there is the Yucatan Peninsula. There it is. And if you start zooming in here, there is, well, let me change view so that this is a little clearer. Let me show, there you go. So there is this water, which is part of the ocean, and there's the town of Bacalar. But as you start zooming in, you see that there's all these other lagoons which may or may not, I think they may have had access all the way to the ocean at some point, because what I found out about the particular lagoon that I showed you, which is right here, pirate ships were able to get all the way in there. See, there's that little spot right there, Canal de los Piratas. So imagine that pirates were able to get all the way in here with their ship and hide their ship in this lagoon, which is totally inland. And Bacalar, it's an entire lagoon on its own. And if you search Bacalar on Google, you will be surrounded by amazing, amazing photographs. And I just saw this morning, and I figured, damn, I really want to visit that place. So before we move on, and I'm glad that I kept my browser open, because I wanted to show you this business of what happens when you're a member. Well, when you're a member here at Coffee and Headlines, you're essentially showing your support, which is very much appreciated. But every now and then, yours truly likes to put out a little bit of information or content or videos or jokes or crossword puzzles or whatever that is only exclusive to members of Coffee and Headlines. Sometimes we put out content that is available to people that buy coffees and to members and so forth and so on. And I got a couple of questions yesterday asking for a reminder on how to access this information. Now, number one, this information is located on the Buy Me a Coffee website, not my website. And we remember that Buy Me a Coffee is a tool for creators like myself to be able to monetize whatever it is that we do. There are thousands of people using Buy Me a Coffee around the world to generate income through whatever it is that people make. I make broadcasts, so that's what it is. So if there are two ways to log on to Buy Me a Coffee. Now, when you do your subscription or when you buy coffee for Coffee and Headlines, you have to submit your email address, and it is that email address that allows you to sign in. There are two ways to sign in. The first way, which may not necessarily be the one that you would want to use, is by going into the main website, buymeacoffee.com. When you do that, you are prompted by a login button here. So when you see that button up there, can you see me clicking? No, there you go. When you see that button up there, then you can actually log in. But you probably want to log in through my personal page in Buy Me a Coffee, which is the link that I always share with you, which is buymeacoffee.com/Ojeda Paco. Now here you will find, this is the homepage, and you find a little bit of how to support and this, that, and the other. You find information about different membership levels, which, as you know, we have 2 of them. And here where it says posts is where you will find things like this. And it says, this post is for members only. Happy brownies, how to make them, for example. This is a question that came up a few weeks ago. Anyhow, the question was, how can we get into these? How can we sign in to get into these? Well, of course, you would be reluctant, and I would be reluctant too, to push this join for $5 per month button, because you're already a member. You're probably thinking, what the fuck? I'm already a member. Why do I have to become a member again? But here's what happens when you click on that little button. You get the option to become a member, but if you scroll down, it says already a member, log in here. So you click on the login here button, and it takes you back to the homepage. So that is, in a nutshell, how you log in to Buy Me a Coffee, to look at the exclusive content that we provide for members as a way to say thank you for your support. If you have any questions on that procedure, I am always happy to answer them. And now we move right along to my afternoon yesterday, which was absolutely heavenly because we had just talked about the Pavlova bakery just a week ago or so, and we talked about it in the context of the fact that they have amazing eye candy photography in their Facebook posts. And I was invited to go by a friend who decided to take me out to lunch. And he says to me, well, let's go to Pavlova first. It is Friday slice day. And let's get some dessert and let's go eat somewhere else. So I had a chance to visit Pavlova Bakery for the first time. And boy, was it wonderful. We got there, and Pavlova is located in Las Aralias, not far from, maybe a couple of blocks away from Francisco Medina Asensio. It is a home converted into a business. And it's beautiful, and you will recognize it immediately because there is that welcome banner sitting outside. And right behind the gate, there's a suite area where you can actually sit down and enjoy your coffee and enjoy your pastry right there in the, well, it must have been a parking garage, but they set it up in such a beautiful way with plants and whatnot. And we walked in, and it was crowded. I mean, there were people waiting in line to be able to purchase things. So of course, waiting gave us the perfect opportunity to take a look at some of the merchandise that is being sold at Pavlova. They have all kinds of merch, and they have everything from mugs to more mugs and gift bags and whatever. But of course, the piece de resistance here is the incredible amount of cakes and pies that are already baked and prepared and ready for you to go, or rather for you to buy or to take. And, you know, they must have such a huge clientele, because just from looking at their packed refrigerators, they have all these cakes. I mean, you don't just get up in the morning to make cake just for the hell of it. If they have all these cakes ready to go, it must clearly mean that they have that many clients. And of course, you don't have to buy an entire cake. They always have, or they seem to have, things on the counter just waiting for you to buy in small containers. These were, of course, their rollos, their buns, cinnamon buns and strawberry buns and so forth and so on. But we were there for cake. And again, they have this gorgeous selection of cake that you can buy to go. It's already packaged. All you have to do is take the one that you want. I chose Pretty in Pink cake, which was this wonderful strawberry cake. We got our cakes, and my friend and I decided to go try a birria taco place that is up on the Quale River, not far, or rather on the way to El Moro Paraíso, which is where I'd love to go on weekends. But this is a place that was opened by a very, very nice boy couple. And they sell birria, and it's a totally mellow place, very sencillo, very basic. I even gave them my card. I was so endeared by them because I have tried some of their flans before, and I said to them, you know, once you guys open a Facebook page, if you need some help with photography, please let me know, because, you know, I just love lending a hand whenever I can with small businesses that are located up the Rio Quale. But check out our view. This is the way the river looks like right now. We were sitting outside and enjoying our birria tacos and just enjoying the splashing of the river. It was absolutely fantastic. And this was my afternoon yesterday. I was glowing, and I was very happy because this week, without intending to, we ended up doing all kinds of show and tell, which made me very happy. I hope you enjoyed the abundance of photographs that I shared with you this week. The end. Yes, the end. Let's break over to the chit chat just to see what everybody is up to. And we take it from there. I see a lot of good mornings and very much appreciate those. Da-da-da-da. No, David. Oh my goodness, your visit came and went. I certainly hope that you enjoyed yourself. I look forward to saying good afternoon, and I wish you a safe return to the Boston area. Let's see. Purim pam pum pam pam, pararam pam 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 pam, pam pidurum pum pum. I see a lot of chit-chatting. I don't see a lot of cues, but that's okay. You don't have to have cues for me. There you go. Can anyone here tell me who the president is in Colonia La Moderna, or know where I can look to find out? I don't know the answer to your question, Suzanne. Maybe somebody else will, but the thing that I would suggest you do is to get in touch with City Hall, because ultimately the neighborhood presidents or the Colonia presidents need to be registered officially with the city, and I would imagine that the city could answer that question, or maybe some business in that neighborhood might be able to give you the answer that you seek. Good luck with that. Let's see what else we have. Dun, 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 dun. What? Do you know what Bacalar means? No, I don't. But when I'm curious enough, I am sure that I'm going to Google the word, and I can find out about that. Sherry says, when I went to that page, there was no login to click on, and both Albert and I had the same problem. Okay. Sherry, please feel free to reach out to me in private. I've given you the instructions to the best of my ability, but I'm happy to troubleshoot privately. Paco, we log in and still can't access the posts. Albert, I've given you information to the best of my ability, but I'm happy to address the situation privately, or maybe give it another go. Keep me posted. Let's see. David is slipping into a sugar coma. I'm still recovering from mine. Let's see what else we have. Birria de Chivo, asks Angelica. No, it was Birria de Res. Let's see what else. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the gratitude, Brandy. It is always much appreciated. It makes my day. And there's another cue. Where is the birria place you were talking about? It's on the way to Moro Paraíso on the left-hand side. They don't even have a storefront yet. It doesn't even look like a restaurant. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. And I'm sorry I did not take any photos. But the next time I head up towards the river, which will happen sometime in the near future, I will take a photograph of the facade so that you can see it. For better or worse, I have a very, very soft heart and big heart, I hope, for small businesses that are just getting started. And these guys cooked delicious birria, and they deserve all the support that they can get. David says, as this is my last Saturday in town, would any cluster members care to join me for bingo at Encanto this afternoon at 4? I wish I could. I know I can't, but I know of 2 cluster members that are going to be there, and I'm sure you will cross paths with them. Let's see what else we have. Thank you, Ricky, for going into Google and providing information for us. What a nice way to contribute to Coffee and Headlines. The name Bacalar most likely derives from Maya languages that means surrounded by reeds, or the locality attested at the time of the 16th century arrival of the Spanish. I love Google when it delivers. So easy to make a Google search. Gina asks, do they have caldo? birria caldo? That's a great question for people that are not familiar with birria tradition. A lot of places will serve you the birria broth, the broth in which the meat is cooked, and the answer is yes, they do have caldo or broth, and we had some, and it was just delicious. I had 2 quesadillas, and my friend was asked, he wanted tacos, and he was given a choice of hard tacos, soft tacos, or semi-soft tacos, and he's like, well, which should I get? And I said to him, well, just get one of each. That way you can experience the different textures. So he got 3 different types of tacos. We loved our meal. Of course, we had our dessert right there, and it was just a perfect afternoon. And that was, of course, the beginning of what I hope will be a perfect weekend. And it is made perfect because I've had a chance to connect with you. And now it's time to begin the leisurely time. I'm going to be doing some crocheting. Then I have a lovely dinner party tonight that I'm looking forward to. And I hope you have great plans for yourself. Please have a great weekend. Please stay dry and be mindful of the hurricane if it is passing near you. And I will see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend.